Hi, welcome. This is a demonstration of the EMS 254. It's an escrow system that facilitates payments to people who are transacting online. So this is the final year project for ALX, and my name is Dennis Narichu. I was developing this project together with my good friend in Samson Kimani and Bradley Kibwana. We were in cohort 9, and this is the final project that we are working on. And in this video I'll just demonstrate how the system works and just also test the backend code. And before we get into it, I'll just give a deep like brief, not even deep, brief analysis on like how we did things. So in this application we used Docker containers to be able to containerize our Flask application, and we split our modules and made sure that we handled the database. We used Python Flask to be able to generate the data, to be able to create database using Python instead of going to SQL explicitly. Our database of choice was MySQL. And in this video also I'll also demonstrate how to consume our API. We created an API to handle user views. Those are endpoints for registration, login, and also checking out the profile. And in our authentication, because it's an escrow system in handling payments, we decided to use JSON Web Tokens, just the JWT authentication, just to enhance security. And we also look into that because I'll also be testing this application on Postman so that you can be able to have a brief understanding of how authentication in JWT works, and also touch also some very detailed documentation of how the system works. I will leave the link to them in the description. But to start, I will first go through the logic that we use to create the database. Let me just go there. In the storage, we used SQL Alchemy that enabled us to be able to like communicate with the database and also perform Flask operations, Python Flask operations on the database instead of going to the database explicitly. Then we also handled the way an user is able to authenticate using JWT. So this is we first of all, in our application structure, we created the tables and the functionality that's going to be able to manipulate the database. Then we created an API to be able to like handle endpoints for user registration and user transactions. So right here I started the Docker I did a command for Docker Compose up that like brings up our application and makes it live and running on our server. Then on our Postman, let me just switch to Postman a bit so that you can be able to see. Hold on a bit. Just switch to Postman a bit. Hold up. Just go to Postman. As you can see on the screen, I decided to do a post request to register this user. I don't know, it's kind of small, but let me just try to make it bigger so that people can be able to like see it. You're able to see it. So this is how the user is supposed to register, but we didn't use a front end in this case. But just to test the backend, we just decided to go with Postman when we were developing, so that we can be able to like know what we're supposed to expect when a user registers. So in here we have the user registering, got the email, password, first name, last name, phone number, and location. And for this, for the endpoint register, and upon registration, this is what the user is supposed to have, especially when they're registering. Even before they log in, the database, the way we handle the logic, you're supposed to bring up something like this. Got a total account details, got total funds, account number is assigned, and you have the incoming funds and going funds. User ID is this, and account message. You have all that being sprung up. Then upon creating that, you're going to now log in into the account, because we set up the password and the email. So let me just copy this. I just copy this and I just do a login. Do a login, then we just get rid of this quickly, and that comma there. So you can see there's a message there. The status code there reads 200, so the user logged in successfully using this. And now we're going to go to the profile. It's supposed to be a get. It's supposed to be a post. A get. Just go to the profile. So the token has expired, but the intended thing was when you do that, when you're able to, like, I'll just go back and check it out, but on the profile, when you are authenticating with JWT, the token has a limited amount of time to be able to log in. So this works the same way as when you log into a site like KRA, or you log into a site like the Daraj API. So when you log in, it's like a session and a cookie is created, and it expires given a certain amount of time. So I'll just go check this. It's supposed to create it, and I'll just come back. But this is the rundown of how the system works, especially when you're looking at the back end of the code and how we are able to interact with, like, and be able to even know how we are running it, and even without even looking at the front end, this is how it is supposed to operate, especially when coming to authentication. Yeah, so this was the main feature that we were able to develop, and it not the main feature, but we also looked at transactions as well, which was kind of hectic, but we managed to be able to, like, do that. And looking at how we were able to do authentication, we just applied the same concept in making sure that we had the logic that was there to handle the transactions. We also created endpoints to be able to, like, handle transactions. As you can see on the screen, we have our transact endpoint that we have the user of account number, the amount, and this enabled someone to be able to send or receive money. And still under development. It was under development at the time, but let me just open another version of it, because we're working with branches, and I'll get back to it. So, but all in all, it was quite a good experience to be able to work in it, and it yielded a lot, and able to learn a lot, especially when it came to, like, how to structure code in the back end. And yeah, thank you for listening, and this is the conclusion of the presentation. Thank you.